Jeffrey Epstein, the man who trafficked and harmed over 300 teenage girls. The millionaire who was allegedly worth billions in offshore accounts, digital currency, hedge funds, stocks. Ghislaine Maxwell, who is sitting in prison for 20 years as an offender, a registered offender, because she was helping him. After her father, who was very wealthy, Robert Maxwell, passed away under very suspicious circumstances, her entire world changed. Ghislaine Maxwell was the youngest of 9 children. Not all of them survived infancy, but she was very much the baby of her family. She was very much the apple of her father's eye. So when his house of cards came crashing down and it was found out that he stole almost $500 million worth of money from his employees' pension funds, it's no surprise he decided, I'm gonna get on a yacht, I'm gonna go on vacation, and boom, he ends up deceased. Ghislaine's mother has lied publicly, right to mainstream media, saying that she was broke, she was a victim too, and that she didn't have anything. Yet she forgets how she had a pension, how she had 3 apartments that were left to her, and then she allegedly had $40 million in some random account set up for her. And we also know that 2 of Ghislaine's brothers, Ian and Kevin, were the most involved with her father's illegal criminal activities and his daily business dealings, because they were arrested on June 19th of 1992, and they were charged with fraud related to the Mir Group pension scandal. So it's no wonder why she was clinging to another alleged billionaire, rubbing his feet, procuring little girls of his liking, on private jets, giving him foot massages with her boobs hanging out. Lord only knows what she was doing with that egg-shaped pee-pee. Because in exchange for helping him with his daily life, with helping take care of and manage his daily life, his maids, his girls, his landscapers, helping arrange all of his flights, anything that he needed done. But she also had connections to people like, the Duke of York, Prince Andrew of the UK. Yeah, because of those connections from her wealthy father. She didn't have the money anymore because her father was gone, but she had those connections in that family name. And she was using that to barter, so that way she gets to stay in power. She gets to stay connected. She gets to stay provided for financially. And look at how that turned out for her. Because when you're doing whatever you have to do to keep a scumbag happy, there's no way that you cannot know that he's a scumbag. He harmed over 300 teenage girls in less than 20 years. I don't even want to do the average on that, but I went down this deep rabbit hole looking into not only the P. Diddy stuff, Jeffrey Epstein. P. Diddy has a record label, Bad Boy Records, but P. Diddy himself has not really been producing much music himself or making much music under his own name. Of course, you're going to make money being the record label, having the best producers and sound engineers to come on and help new artists or artists that are on your label. And of course, you're going to be making money off of that music if it does well, if the artist does well, but you're also spending a lot of money on promoting that artist. Where did all of P. Diddy's money, endless amounts of money, come from? Same thing with Jeffrey Epstein. Where did this money come from, and why is he tied to so many presidents of the United States, so many politicians, the king of Saudi Arabia and the crown prince of Saudi Arabia? Why did he have a Saudi Arabia passport plus 12 other passports? Well, Jean-Luc Brunel, this model, and of course, he was also found deceased under very, very suspicious circumstances because he was also in his own prison cell, alone, allegedly. Now, he wasn't only a former model, he was also acting as a modeling agent. Now, in 2022, at 75 years old, he was found deceased. And it's very suspicious that he did it in the same way as Jeffrey Epstein. He also was the head of several other modeling agencies, including Corinne Models Agency, which was charged with harassment and the R word of at least one minor over the age of 15 in December of 2020. True or not, we'll never know because they're both gone now. But if you look into MC2 Modeling Management, co-founded by Jean-Luc Brunel and Jeffrey Epstein, it gets really weird. Not only did they have a Facebook, they had an Instagram account. They had been promoting this modeling management company. And of course, there's been articles that have been published in 2022 when Jean-Luc Brunel was found deceased, asking questions like, did a Miami-based modeling agency fuel Jeffrey Epstein's machine of abuse? It also talks about how the yellow sign for MC2 Model Management is still posted in the second floor window overlooking Lincoln Road. It's an echo of the modeling mecca years when South Beach was like walking into a Calvin Klein underwear ad, with head-turning men and women on every corner and photo crews lined up on the sand. So I've always wondered how and where did Epstein or even P. Diddy, where do they get their money from and how do they operate? Well, if you go over to Facebook, you can see that MC2 Model Management Miami still has a Facebook page up. And then you see down there, mc2models.com/Miami, that website's still up. And of course, this is what you encounter when you go to that website that is linked on the Facebook page for Jeffrey Epstein and Jean-Luc Brunel's modeling agency. You can fully pause to read. And of course, you can see here that it still says copyright MC2 Models 2013-2025, meaning that this website, the domain, all of it is still being ran and operated. By who is what I would like to know. Look at how many pages there are at the bottom of this. This means that somebody is still operating this modeling agency that Jeffrey Epstein and Jean-Luc Brunel started, funded, promoted, solicited girls to be a part of. But guess what? It's not a modeling agency like you think. And I'm going to have to censor all of this here because this is all keywords that people look for when they're looking at very inappropriate materials. But I'm just going to show you on this website, it says live webcam models. And look at the bottom of the website, 2013 to 2025, Jean-Luc Brunel was found deceased in his own cell in 2022. Jeffrey Epstein, 3 years earlier in 2019. So who is running and operating this today, now? Who's keeping the website going? Who is keeping these webcam models going? And still doing it under Jeffrey Epstein's modeling agency website. Look, copyright, MC2 Models 2013-2025. It's 2025 now. And I'm going to have to censor this. I'm telling you, if you have kids or even if you're just curious, do not go to this website at all because it is not a modeling agency like you think, like a runway model. Models for campaigns, brand deals, ads, marketing, advertising. This is preferences for webcam models, webcam girls. This website that Jeffrey Epstein had and ran with Jean-Luc Brunel and helped fund this whole entire modeling agency still says that it's fully operating. Is this how the world's elite really operate? Is this what P. Diddy was doing? Is that why he had to have his iPad and his iPhone and other electronic devices because he was recording or going live, doing these freak-offs on a webcam website? Is that where his millions come from? Is this how they get rich and stay rich?